Hi, I'm Rap Critic, and this is Lady Jess. And we decided to watch Barbershop 3.
Yeah.
And
I went into this pretty much only after seeing the first Barbershop way back when it came out in 2002. So, like, I know the basic story, and according to Rap Critic, apparently I could have skipped 2, and I did, so yay.
Yeah.
But we basically were speculating before the movie, like, if it was going to be as bad. But then I found out on Rotten Tomatoes it has a 92%. And
we were like, what?
We're like, what is so cool about this movie that everybody fucking loves it? So we decided to check it out, I guess.
And
we were not disappointed, that's for sure.
So the audience loved it.
Oh my god, our audience was once again, only white chick in the theater. This is the third movie that we've gone to go see where I'm the only white chick in the theater. First was Straight Outta Compton, then we went to see Chirac, now we're seeing Barbershop.
And interesting that you mentioned Chirac.
Yeah.
Because this film has decided to take on the subject of violence in Chicago.
On the south side of Chicago, actually.
Yeah. And so I was like, going in, I was like...
But the thing is where Chirac was very, very...
heavy-handed.
Dramatic and heavy-handed.
Yeah.
This one has a little bit of a lighter tone. There's some comedic elements in it.
There's a lot of comedic elements to it.
But it's
literally
not...
okay, go on.
No, I was going to say, it's not as heavy-handed in Chirac. Like, it's a plot thread, but it's not just about the violence. It's also about, what Ice Cube's character, Calvin Palmer, is doing to help the community and to, steer his son in the right direction.
I find it interesting that watching, like, Friday and then watching...
Yeah, Friday's very different.
Yeah, because, like, that movie had no, themes. It was just like, here's a day in the hood, like, whatever. And now... this movie has a similar idea because it takes, like, the first movie...
the movie Barbershop 3 really takes place over, like, 72 hours or 70... or, like, 4 days. Like, it doesn't take over, like, maybe a week at most. But it doesn't really, like... And they tell you, like, how much time has progressed and everything, which is kind of nice. But... what I think is very interesting is that I feel like, compared to the first Barbershop, this really shows Ice Cube's prowess as a writer. And being able to actually take real social issues that are very important to the black community, and not only...
And especially Chicago.
Yeah.
This is very Chicago-centric. We're going to get to that in a minute.
I actually said this to Rap Critic as we left the theater. I was like... I feel like Ice Cube has taken 80s Compton and translating it a little bit, but...
Yeah, it was very interesting, because at first I'm like, wait, did these movies take place in Chicago? Oh, shit, I think they did. Yeah. Like, that's interesting that they had the platform to do that, and then they took advantage of it. And like I said, we're in... Friday and Barbershop, it's really sort of just a slice of life sort of, films. But this movie takes that idea of just a slice of life and expands upon it, and not just in little ways like that are just like jokes. Like, yeah, it has the jokes, but it really works it in. And what's funny is that like every conversation they have, like, how in the first movie it was just like, oh, a woman with a big ass, and a big ass woman. What I mean? Like, now it was like they were trying to actually have conversations.
And what I really liked is that it filled in the blanks of the 12 years between.
Oh, yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah, which was really great. And I really thought that it was really fantastic that that during the double standard conversation of, the men in the barbershop telling the women, well, you want this in a man, and the women like come back and go, well, you want this in a bitch. So, like, what the fuck?
Specifically, so like in that time that's passed, the barbershop is no longer by itself. In order to survive, it's mixed with the beauty salon.
The beauty salon from the girls.
Yeah. And so so you have them both in the same place. And so now, and I found that very interesting, because this movie is very progressive for a black comedy movie.
Yeah.
Like, you have, okay, so, like, you know, it used to be that the men's place is over there and the women's place is over there. But literally, the thematic element of men and women coming together is tied in through that in and of itself, you know?
The only thing that seems to separate the two of them in any shape or form is literally that Calvin's barbershop mirror basically bisects the barbershop and the beauty salon. And then the other thing is like this, I don't know what you would call it, but like this, I would guess partition of where One Stop's barbershop chair is.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's it. And then the rest of it is
But it's open between each other.
It's open between the two.
And I love how that's kind of like, this is a weird thing to say artistically for a comedy, but like it's trying to unify, you know, men and women in the discussion. And like it you know, there's still like the sort of cheap shots and stuff like that, but like it's in a way that like, okay, we're trying to figure out what you're doing and you're trying to figure out what we're doing, and like, you know, this. And then so to get into the characters,
Ice Cube was great.
Yeah, Ice Cube is great, and now he has a family.
His son was actually very surprising because it's very hard to find a good child actor.
Mm-hmm. And every time I always watch the kid, like, because, you know, like...
he's very engaging.
Yeah, but when you watch a stage play, you know, your eye always goes to, like, what you think could be wrong. So, like, when I watch a movie, my eye always goes to, like, the kid actor, and I'm always going, like, where is he going to screw up in his... But he was very good very engaging.
Well, what I really thought did him really good... what I thought did the kid justice was I really liked that... his overall arc, really.
Yeah, he has a bigger arc than fucking Ice Cube does.
Yeah. So just to like go into the plot a little bit. So basically gang warfare on the streets of Chicago. Mm-hmm. And
actually, they do a similar thing. They want a ceasefire.
Yeah. So like in Chirac, they did a La Sistrata thing where they had all the women deny sex. In this movie, they decided the barbershop basically decides, well, for the next 48 hours, if we can get both gangs to agree to not kill each other, we will offer free haircuts to anyone for 48 hours straight. Yeah. We don't care. We'll stay open. We don't care. So basically, the kid's, I don't know his name. What's his name? I think they call him Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jay is short for something. I don't remember what it is.
Chief Keef looking dude.
Yeah. So Jay has this arc where he's starting to get into trouble with school and he's starting to fall in with the wrong crowd. Mm-hmm. And Ice Cube kind of fathers him and says, "Yo, I'm doing this for your own good, blah, blah, blah," which is really fucking rich coming from a guy who used to be in the NWA.
We're going to get to that in a minute.
But, to be fair, by the end of the movie, there's this big climactic thing where one of the barbershop members is shot. He's killed. Mm-hmm. And you know, there's this big to-do with Ice Cube basically storming out of the shop and then being talked to. But what's really cool and what I really liked about it was, you know, Kenny, the boy that Jay has been hanging out with, mm-hmm. who Ice Cube thinks is a horrible influence, comes into the barbershop one night and says, "Oh my God, you gotta go find Jay. He's in the park." Yeah.
Like, he turns out to be the guy.
And he's the one who turns out to be the guy who's not very keen on joining the gang.
But see, the thing is, what I like about that is that originally he was involved with, like, gang activity before he got kicked out of another school. Yeah. So the assumption is that, oh, it's him leading my son into trouble.
Right.
And I like how it subverts that in a way.
And I like that when Ice Cube actually gets there, he sees that his...
That sounds like a spoiler.
Oh, fine. Okay, well, basically what happens is like, you know, the whole father-son thing gets resolved, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So the idea is that in the, and what I just want to bring this up. So we're talking about the characters, and we talked about the kids'
Can
sort
we
of story
talk
arc.
about Nicki Minaj?
Well, in a second, because I want to talk about, Common.
I don't know who's Common.
The bald-headed dude who is like...
The father of Kenny?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Common! Oh, shit.
And fucking Lonnie and O'Shea coming together, fucking hugging it up. Dude, do you know the history behind those two?
No.
So in the 90s, Common made a song called I Used to Love Her. And it was about hip-hop and how, hip-hop's kind of going this weird way, and I don't really like it because it feels like it's too gangsta and, like, they don't really care about Afrocentricity and intelligence. And, Ice Cube being on the West... Because in the song, Common said something about, like, yeah, they took her to the West Side and they, gang-banged on her and da-da-da, a metaphor for gang-banging and, whatever. And Ice Cube was like, oh, you don't fucking like gangster rap? Well, fuck you! And they, like, made a whole fucking Ice Cube made his diss song with Westside Connect, and then Common made a diss song back called I See the Bitch in You, which was, like, this, like, the song that people were not expecting fucking Common to make, and it is, like, fucking people say it fucking obliterated Ice Cube.
Can I just say that today I was introduced to a West Side Connect, and I did not know that Keith David was on the record.
Which is why they got him for the Barbershop movie, because they knew him,
Yeah, which I thought was really great. What does he say? What's the word? What's the line?
Make no mistake, your life has just been threatened.
And I was sitting there going, I'm like, this is the guy who was in Gargoyles and played the fucking Shadow Man in The Princess and the Frog. And I'm like literally sitting there going, okay, Keith David, I consider myself very threatened. Thank you.
Fucking Keith David's voice, man. So what's really, I think, monumental about this film, that just like a behind the scenes thing that maybe most people might not even know who goes to the movie.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah, just the fact that, like, Common and Ice Cube, like, used to hate each other.
I didn't know that.
And, like, they had a fucking serious ass rap beef for a long ass time. And
so what happened to resolve it?
I think it just time passed and just, like,
they grew up.
Yeah, I really think it was that. If there's something specific that happened that I'm forgetting, please tell me. But I think it's just like they grew up and got more mature and they realized that, like, this is fucking childish. And so that's why it's so fucking monumental to see Common and Ice Cube. You see them fucking when they first meet, they like, yeah, what's going on? And it's just like, dude, this is so fucking big for hip hop right now. Like, and I don't think most hip hop, like, I don't think most people know that. You know what I mean? Because, like, most people, a lot of people don't even know fucking Ice Cube is a rapper, So.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, like, I remember the whole NWA thing because I was alive, unlike some people.
I was literally born about 6 months after they broke up.
Yeah, I'm like sitting there going, I was 5.
Because they're like 1991 was their last album.
Yeah, I remember, like, I don't remember a lot about them because I was like, a baby, but for the most part, I remember, like, seeing flashes of it in, like, the newspapers and, like, from, like, my preschool and stuff. Like, my preschool teacher used to read the newspaper, so, she would have it open and, like, I could read. So, but what's really interesting to me is that most people today, who, especially younger people, who only know Ice Cube as that guy from Friday, it's really weird because I'm literally sitting there going, you guys know that he was in a gangster rap group, right? Like, gangsta rap group.
The funny thing is, it's like, people say, oh, he only makes family movies. As far as I remember, he only made one family movie. It was the Are We There Yet? That's all he did. What else did he do?
Well, I guess you can construe that Barbershop is... Yeah, Barbershop 3
PG-13, but it... Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you can count this as a family movie now because it's literally about his family.
Yeah, it's literally about him being a family man.
Can I say I love how his wife was, like, someone who was, like, age appropriate for him?
In
most movies they'll get, like, some 18-year-old chick and shit.
Yeah, and I loved, not only was she age appropriate, because that would make sense because they have a 15-year-old son. Yeah. But also, I really liked that she was an equal partner. Mm-hmm. That she wasn't just, the woman. She literally was a fleshed out character, which was very, very nice.
Her and, I think, Regina King?
Yeah.
The blue-haired chick who was, like, co-owned the place.
She had a very good role,
because she owned the salon, so,
they collaborate there in a business partnership, whereas his wife is a fleshed-out character who actually helps him raise his son. So it's not just about Ice Cube. And, he even says the line in the movie, he says something along the lines of when they're having their disagreement, the father and son disagreement, he goes, you're very lucky because you have 2 parents.
Yeah, 2 parents who care about you.
And I really thought that was very resonant of, how not only how a lot of people who are black don't grow up with, both parents all the time, but also that it was, a significant, oh God, I hate words. A significant
thing
that he treats her like an equal partner.
Yeah, that's actually a really big deal. Like I said,
like Friday, I feel like the women are kind of treated like hoes.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Okay, so
even the sister is kind of like treated like a nagging.
Yeah. So speaking of hoes, we got to talk about Nicki Minaj.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about her. Okay, first of all, with what she was given, Nicki did a great job.
Oh my God, she was phenomenal. I actually, honestly, I think she had the most speaking lines out of all the women.
Yeah, and also I thought it was really funny how like there would be a lot of reaction shots that would just cut to Nicki. Maybe it's just because I know her and they cut to a lot of reaction shots, but like it just felt like her specifically. Okay, it was like we have to show Nicki Minaj.
So the only things I really know Nicki Minaj for are super bass
and her ass
and Anaconda and her ass. So somebody who doesn't like Anaconda, I don't dislike the sample. I just dislike her lyrics. But my thing is that every single time they would fucking go to her ass, and I'm like,
yeah,
I understand. No, I literally was like thinking to myself, I was like, I understand that you guys need to show her butt. Like, I get that she's got the greatest butt in the history of rap music. I get it, okay? It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
What my issue is that the way you made her character,
the way they kept framing it,
and the way you keep framing it makes it really awkward for me.
Like, it's like, does she not wear like skimpy shit like all the time? Like, it just and like you're not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's just like it's specifically the way the camera's focused. It's just like, I mean, not that I don't enjoy it, but I just felt like I feel like we should be focusing on her, and I feel like there's a little too full of a body shot going on here right now.
There's like a scene.
Too many times of her walking away.
There's like a scene with Common, and like when she exits the car, it literally goes up the stairs on her ass, and I'm literally sitting there going,
God damn it, we get it.
Why are we? And then he's sitting in the car arguing with himself.
Which is a great scene. The best scene of the movie. Common needs to win a fucking award.
That was fucking great.
Okay.
But essentially, like, the entire time where he's arguing with himself, it keeps jump cutting to her ass. And I'm like, why?
I'm trying to see what Common's reaction is. They keep cutting to her butt. No, the very interesting thing is like, okay, so Nicki Minaj kind of gets the hussy role. You know what I mean?
She
does well in it for what she gets,
but I feel like
she's like the Marilyn Monroe of this fucking movie. Where it's
I feel like the reason that she was cast is literally for her star power, which is fine.
Definitely, but she doesn't slouch. She's not lazy.
She's not lazy,
and she's fun. Like, you like her. You know what I mean?
You do like her, and even when she's getting into a fight with other people in the barbershop over the whole shenanigans with Common, She literally saves her own face, and they both say to everybody, nothing happened, and they kind of, Eve hates her because duh.
Because Eve. All right, first of all, in
I don't even know where I know Eve from. Where is she?
She's a rapper.
Is she really?
Eve, Common, Nicki Minaj, Ice Cube, all rappers. This is a very rap-studied cast.
Oh no, wait, is Eve one of the people who did the Moulin Rouge thing?
Yes, she was the rapper on there.
Okay.
Other than Missy Elliott.
No, I thought it was what's her name? Lil' Kim was on there too. Was it Lil' Kim or was it Eve? I don't remember. I think it was Lil' Kim.
Wait, okay. So the girls were Missy Elliott, Christina Aguilera, Pink,
Maya,
and
Lil' Kim.
And Lil' Kim. What the fuck did Eve? Was Eve on that song? Somebody look at it. I think Eve. Are you sure Eve wasn't on that shit?
Eve was. I'm looking at shit up right now.
Well, while you're looking it up, but ultimately, she gets the sort of like the hussy role, but I like how she's a part of the conversation. She's not just I'm cute and look at my butt, even though the camera really wants you to just look at her butt. She has great moments and retorts, and she holds her own in the conversations. And even when it comes to the part where, they start to dissect, why would you do this, and da-da-da, it goes like, well, this is why I feel this way, and it actually explains her motivations. And then I like the nerdy guy. I like how he actually plays a role. Okay, so we have the main characters, and then we have the little side characters. And whereas in the other movies, the side characters were purely comic relief. Like, they served no purpose other than to be... Like, the African dude, I think it was in, the second one, he was just there to be the African stereotypical guy. We had an Indian dude in the movie, and he was, fucking representing. He was a full-fledged character. He talked about his background when it came up, and it's like, this is why I believe this, and I didn't agree with everything that he was saying, but it was like, okay, someone's making a point, making their point. You know what I mean? You don't agree, you won't end up agreeing with everything that happens in the movie, but at the same time, you have oh, this is starting the dialogue. You know what I mean? This is letting that happen. What?
Let Me Blow Your Mind, featuring Gwen Stefani, and Gangster Lovin' with Alicia Keys. That's
are those the songs you know? Wait, you don't know her from the... Hold on.
She's not on Moulin Rouge.
Who's that girl? La 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 la. Really?
I don't
Wait, hold on. Go. Or Love is Blind, and it'll take over your mind. What you think is love is truly not. You need to elevate. Really? All right, well... Hold on.
She's not on
She didn't have that many
Rouge.
singles, all right. But you're right. She's not in that. All right. Anyway.
No,
I thought she was.
No. So yeah. The oh my god. So I love the Indian dude because he's really trying very hard to fit in, but he's very aware that he's not black.
Yeah, and it's and like I said, where with the other ones, it was just silly, stupid character. With him, I actually felt like he had. Not a purpose, but he had his own reality. And he wasn't just a one-note joke. He was a Republican Indian dude.
Yeah, he had his own damn character arc.
Yeah, it was really cool. But he was still silly and joined in on the fun. He didn't feel like an outsider. It felt like here's someone with his own background coming into this black barbershop, but it's all good. And then you had the nerdy guy who I love just a lot of conversation in this movie feels so this would have never happened 14 years ago.
Yeah.
It really is. When I first heard about this, it's you're going to make a barbershop movie 14 years later. It's this isn't fucking Godfather. And even then, the third fucking Godfather movie wasn't that great. So, what makes you think you have a chance? But, man, it comes through. It keeps... This is a movie that kept up with the times. And it has a lot of relevant things. In fact, it talks about R. Kelly at one point, which I think was very interesting because, it's about Chicago.
Can I also say that the President of the United States was played by a professional Obama impersonator?
Dude, I was so badly, I was like, is that over?
No,
but
it wasn't.
Yeah, the way they kept framing away from his face, I was like, all right, it's not him. Because if it was him, they would have fucking choked.
Yeah, I feel if Ice Cube personally knew the President of the United States and could get him for Barbershop,
oh my God. But
he would have been a big deal.
Yeah. There were comedic gems in this movie, especially the payoff at the end with the president.
Yeah, at the beginning of the movie, Eddie shows Cedric the Entertainer's character, Eddie shows a picture to everyone. And they keep going, yo, you can't tell who that is.
Yeah, you don't know the president. You didn't meet... It's it's fucking Coming to America. You didn't meet Joe Louis.
Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, Obama stops by.
And he's like, oh, yeah.
And they have a fucking prologue. It's
great. You know what I really like about this movie, though? At the very beginning, it says hey, this is Chicago, this is love, and da-da-da. It's but we also have some problems. Now, I find it kind of funny because people were giving shit to Spike Lee for being from New York, but talking about Chicago. It's I kind of felt it's motherfucker, you've been repping West Side all fucking your life, and now you're talking about you from Chicago. But I think that's just me who listens to his rap music trying to intersect my brain into it. But I was all right, he's representing Chicago in this movie. All right, you gotta let every fucking song where he mentions the West Side go right now because he's being an actor. And what was I getting on about? I was talking about how he they bring up issues that are like, because Chicago's kind of like the hotbed of what's going on in the world, right? Going on in America, as far as gun violence and all this shit.
One of my favorite parts of the movie, which is also really sad.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I just remember what I was gonna say.
Okay.
The part at the very beginning. I'm sorry. I just fucking because I my train of thought spun off.
Say it before you lose it again.
Okay. Yeah. Shit. At the very beginning, remember when like they tell you about how serious it is, and then the first scene is like fucking Cedric the Entertainer's character running from what we think are some thugs, and then it gets twisted. And so it's like, the movie kind of sets it up like, oh my god, are we going to be serious like right off the fucking bat? And then it pops with this joke, and it's like, fucking Barbershop, they're not going to get serious. But it's like, but it gives you the perfect dynamic for what's to be expected. Like, because it has that comedy, and it has that drama, and it keeps it, relevant and fresh. But what are you going to say?
I think that we should probably label spoilers at some point.
Yeah, we should do spoilers now. Yeah, we definitely talk about that.
Now we're going to talk about spoilers because it's really important.
Because this is a point that we need to talk about.
Yeah. So in the movie itself, sorry, you've been warned. So in the movie itself, what I really liked, which was also very sad, was while they're talking about the ceasefire and actually like trying to do something about... They organize a meeting at the barbershop, and they're basically like talking about like what they should do. And somebody I don't know who it was who got up and said it, but they started listing off like a bunch of the names.
It was Common.
It was Common. Okay.
That was a strong moment. Common, like I said, Common needs something for this movie.
Yeah, Common literally stood up and said, Trayvon Martin.
Like, what about this person? Like he's saying, like
he's like Eric Garner was on camera and nothing was done.
It was when the Indian guy. It was when the Indian guy was talking about, because he's the Republican there, so he's like, it's like black people, haven't you had enough time and da da da. You have a black president now. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, and then Common gets up and says, these people have died
under fucking Obama's watch, like in the last 8 years. Not like while he was watching it, but just like. No, the progression is not over. We still have to deal with these problems.
Yeah, it's great that we have a black president, but he's not, he's the president of the United States. Yeah. He's not just for us.
And he's saying, like, he's not just the black president, he's the president of all of America. So, like, people, we were getting different perspectives. Like, one person was saying, like, well, he's the president of all of America. Maybe he can't do this. And then I think it was Nicki Minaj that was saying, like, well, but what has he done for the black community? Like, what the fuck? Like, literally, you are from Chicago. That's what makes this movie so poignant. Like, and especially at this time, like, you're from this place.
Yeah, Obama is from Chicago.
And he was like, so what have you done for us that has made us, that verifies the fact that we, that you're a man of the people. And so, like, I love that they had that conversation. Just that they had it.
And
it was so great.
I really like the social issues perspective because, when I was walking into this movie, I really thought that, okay, this is going to be a well-written comedy, obviously, because, it's got a really good score on Rotten Tomatoes. But I was very, very surprised by the social engagement and the social issues. And oh, God. So at the very beginning, we meet this kid, Anthony. And Anthony is the guy who sweeps up the hair in the barbershop.
Oh my God, I didn't like his character that much.
I didn't either, but and it's really funny and sad at the same time that you said in the thing, you were like, watch this motherfucker's gonna get shot.
Oh my God! I called it! I fucking called it!
And then when they're about to finish the ceasefire, like, it's like 36 hours into the ceasefire or whatever. And all of a sudden the police officer shows up and, people are like, oh, you're here for a haircut, cool. And the guy looks really serious, and Ice Cube goes, what the fuck? And he goes, so there was a shooting, and Anthony's dead, and I almost turned to you.
And that was when the movie just went like, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, and I understand that it's, a fictional thing, but to have it so powerfully portrayed, and like, you didn't really know Anthony that well, but you knew who he was.
Yeah, what I hated about it is that it's like, I'm the upstanding kid who don't want to hurt nobody and won't do anybody wrong. As soon as I saw that, I just let you know, I was like, he is so gonna die.
It was great.
And you only see him in one scene. It's just like, really?
Here's the weird thing. The weird thing is that Jay, his son, is also a good student and also an upstanding member of society, but he's
starting to fall in.
But he's starting to fall in. So let me talk about.
And fucking Tyga's in there. Man.
What the fuck is he doing here? Anyway, so I'm not going to talk about him. I have a love-hate relationship with that motherfucker. Anyway, so at the very end, Kenny runs... so Kenny and Jay's storyline is basically they're in with Tyga and, like, they're trying to get... You know, Tyga gives them money and, you know, he's like, you know, you got to pledge to our gang and blah, blah, blah. And during the ceasefire, there's the shooting with Anthony, and then also... the kids are supposed to pledge.
Yeah,
Kenny kind of weasels out on it.
What I don't get is, like, what? So, those guys are going to do, like, a fucking hoot ride, like, right? I mean, that means there's some other gang activity that's going to take place within the 48 hours of the ceasefire.
Yeah, but remember what Tyga said. He's like, I don't give a fuck what's his face said.
Yeah, but, so, what I mean is like, it was supposed to be a ceasefire. One kid got killed, and someone else is about to get killed. So that means they didn't do a good job.
Yeah, well, remember what
this is a plot hole thing.
What Eddie said. It said he's like, it's not about who got shot. It's about the countless who we don't know that we saved.
Yeah, that was actually a really poignant point because that's true. Like when you're trying to do good for the world, it's never apparent where that good, you know, shows up sometimes.
Yeah.
It could be years down the road, you know. But I thought, but I want to get into some things
I just wanted to finish my thought with Jay.
Okay.
So Jay goes to the gang and Tyga has this thing with him. So Ice Cube's on his way to go find Jay because he's really worried about him. He thinks he's going to get shot. And, you know, the flood of all the stuff that he and his wife had been talking about kind of washes over him. And all of a sudden he gets there and Jay is just standing there where he pulls up to. And he's fine. And he made the right decision. He didn't go with the gang. He decided to not do that. Mm-hmm. And at the very end, he gets his hair cut by his dad. And what I really liked about it was, you know, it was like this transition thing. And I really liked that he goes, now you can sweep up your hair. And I was like, yeah. Because at the very beginning, he goes, why can't you come to the shop once in a while and come help sweep up a little bit, you know? Like he was saying, you know, Anthony comes and does work for us a couple of times a week. Why can't you do the same and earn the $20 you want from me?
I want to mention the points that the little bit of things that I took issue with.
Okay.
And the very small. One was how, like, when it gets to the heavier moments, sometimes like when they add the humor in it and they make it funny, that's what makes it really pop over the top, you know, because it really gets in there and you don't feel too weighty. But there are times where it's just like it's a little too, you know, everyone knows exactly what to say. Everyone's able to chime in. They've all like fucking turned into a hive mind, and they're like, "Yeah, we need to do the right thing. This is the right thing to do." And it's just like it's a little too, bruh, you're getting sappy. Like this is a little too Saturday morning special. You know what I mean? Like you felt that at points, right? Like I know that they're trying to give a message, but like at the same time, you
gotta remember, like Ice Cube, like he's. I feel really bad because I really don't want to say this, but at the same time, it's pretty evident. So, after NWA and he started writing Friday and all that noise, I feel like Ice Cube has now become the very thing that he was rapping about in the NWA.
That was the point I was going to... That actually leads to my second point. The second point that I wanted to say was that I think there is a bit of a disconnect with how I feel like... And once again, like, this could have been a meta commentary that if they wanted to do it. So check this out. When it comes down to him and his kid having an argument, it always feels like the dad is just always right and he knows what's best, and you know, like it feels like there's no room to understand what the kid is going through. Mm-hmm. It feels like, kid, you need to just fall in line and just listen to what your old man has to say and pick your pants up and then
it's not Jay's story though. It's Calvin's.
I know, but it feels a little too like not trying to understand him. And you think someone who was responsible for, like, you know, the really fucking rebellious music of the 90s, you think there would be a little bit of, like, hey, I understand. Or, you know, like, or, you know what would have been the best? If he would have sat him down and said, like, look, I need to tell you something. when I was a kid, I was involved with gang shit too. And I thought that this, and, I thought this. But you know what? I grew up, and I understand that was all a waste of time.
What would have been way funnier is if he would have said, son, I need to tell you the story of Friday.
No, I used to be a nigga with an attitude. That would have been great. And it's like I used to be angry and I used to be all this. And then when I grew up,
so my thing is Barbershop. Does Barbershop take place in the real world, or is it in a universe where Ice Cube never joined NWA?
Yeah. It means that's supposed to be Ice Cube. You're not supposed to know who.
It's fucking Ice Cube. We know who he is.
We know who the Chronic is in this universe. We know Dr. Dre's the Chronic, but we don't know Ice Cube. But whatever. No, but what I mean is, like, it would have been such a cool moment if they would have had, like, that little nod to the audience, like, yeah, you did used to be a part of, like, gang activity, just like this kid is getting into, but you're trying to show him that now that you're more mature, you're trying to pass on this knowledge that would have helped me if somebody would have come to me about that. That would have been great, but instead it gets played off like, I just know better because I'm the dad. Just fall in line. And it's just there could have been a deeper connection.
He could have said, I had attitude and also a Jerry.
Like, there could have been a bit of a deeper connection that I wish that would have solidified the moment. But instead, because it just became kind of like the bill, like, the sort of like, I'm your dad and you need to do this thing. They had an opportunity and they kind of missed it with that.
I feel like with especially, Spike Lee's a different story because Spike Lee basically funds his own shit. But with Ice Cube, Ice Cube is a good producer. He's a good writer. But the problem is that I don't think that he has enough money to fund that, all-star cast that we had. So I feel like with New Line Cinema, New Line basically said, okay, you guys can talk about Black Lives Matter. You guys can talk about these things. But in exchange, you have to do these things.
Yeah, probably.
So, I feel like
you have to have Nicki Minaj in there, that sort of thing.
I feel like part of it was really good. I feel like part of it was, yeah, you can talk about Black Lives Matter, but you have to show that the father is right and the son,
right, and the son is wrong, and the dad is right. I
feel like the Hollywood cliches were not a result of Ice Cube's writing. I feel like they were kind of shoehorned in there as a way of saying, okay,
I can totally see that.
This is a black person's movie, but we're gonna put some white people shit in there.
You have to have these conventions.
Just in case some white people see this.
You can't get too black.
like you can't be too black, okay?
No, but
you just can't.
As far as the franchise is concerned, I didn't think they should have had a Barbershop 3 movie, but I'm so glad they did. If they could have just skipped from the first one to just this one, that would have been great.
And I liked them coming together and actually, working together and showing, the camaraderie and the sense of community.
Yeah.
I really liked that about the first Barbershop movie, and I'm really glad that they found it again in this one.
Yeah, they found a voice, and they made it matter, and I think this is a really good, important movie that you should see. This is a comedy. This is the second sequel in a comedy movie made 14 years after the original, and despite all of that, it's a movie you should see this year.
What's the first one that we saw?
No. I mean, the second sequel of it. It's the trilogy. Trilogies are not good in this day and age. You know what I mean? Especially comedies. When have you ever seen the third comedy is the best one? That's not an argument that people have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this movie had a lot of things stacked against it, and it worked through it.
I will argue that there's never a good second sequel, except in the case of Empire Strikes Back.
But it was really a movie where you felt like you were a part of it. You wanted to be there. You wanted to be in the discussion, and you really delved into their lives. The great main characters, great supporting cast. I can't praise Nicki Minaj and Common enough for how well a performance they did.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was Common. That was so my bad.
Dude, the way Common is sitting in that car after she leaves, he was like, he might as well have just been looking at the audience like, did she not want to have sex with me? It seemed like that was what was happening. It's such a great moment. Oh my God, you got to see it. So my final rating, out of 5, I would give it a 4.5.
Whoa.
Yeah, highly recommended. Really good.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You gave Chirac that too. And Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah. Well, what about you?
I gotta say, okay, so personally, as somebody who didn't see the second Barbershop movie,
you didn't need to.
I gotta say, I gotta give this a 4.5 out of 5. I will say that out of the 3 movies that we've seen, Straight Outta Compton and Chirac and this one, I really think that I liked Straight Outta Compton the most.
Okay.
Thematically. Mm-hmm. But this one was by far the funniest.
I would say for the sake of hip hop preservation or whatever, that's like the hip hopist in me like that one the most.
Like Chirac was great, but the problem with Chirac is that it was so overly dramatic.
And then overly silly. Yeah. Like, this movie knew how to balance the comedy with the silly.
That's what I liked about this movie, is that, like, with Chirac, they seem to go from one side of the spectrum to the other with no middle ground. This one found the middle ground.
Yeah.
And the next one we're probably going to be doing is The Birth of a Nation.
Oh, yo.
So we were sitting
I was like, why can't black people win awards in movies where they're not slaves, goddamn?
So we're sitting in previews, and I'm like, what the shit is this? And there's, like, a bunch of slaves and, like, a bunch of white people.
But then you see, like, a rebellion happening, and you're like, okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it says The Birth of a Nation, and I'm like, that's going to be highly controversial.
I was like, oh, shit, they took it back.
Yeah, they took it back, and now it's going to be extremely controversial, because as soon as that movie comes out, like, black people are going to be like, Birth of a Nation is a really good movie, and white people are going to be like, okay.
Nah, but that looks really good.
Almost Christmas looked good too.
That one looked good too. That fucking Medea movie though, I was like,
oh yeah, Medea's making a new movie.
Medea fights zombies. Are you tired of zombies yet? Jesus Christ. Even Medea is fighting fucking zombies. God, Jesus Christ. When they're that movie Top 5. In that movie, they literally made a joke about how, like, I mean, they couldn't say Medea, but basically it's like, this old funny lady is in a haunted house. This is how desperate we're getting with these movies. It was kind of in the background, but you saw it. And then I saw the ad for this movie, I was like, this has to be like an April Fool's joke. Like, this can't be real.
I think, and it was really funny too, because I was like, I was not expecting it, and then it happened, and I was like, I looked at Rap Critic, and I was like, why are they making another one?
And then, I mean, just as another stupid moment, they had a moment where they, like, talked about Prince, and they were like, because they were talking about masculinity, which is great.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this movie came out before Prince died, just so you know.
It was made. It was made before Prince died.
Well, it came out last Friday. So, shut up. So, and Prince died this past Thursday, so... the movie has been out for a week now, and when they brought up Prince, I was very happy because, so at the end of the movie, this is the last thing I think we can talk about, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
About Prince?
No. After this part about Prince.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so this is the last thing we're going to talk about, and then we'll shut up. So, at the end of the movie, what's her name with the long hair? The
girl who's into the geek dude?
Yeah, the girl who's into the geek dude. They're walking out of the barbershop, and... he's asking about why people perceive him as gay, or like what is it about him that they perceive as gay.
It was a dope conversation,
and she brings up Prince, and
she was like, he sounds like what it means.
And it got a pop from the audience, which I was very happy about.
People were like, yeah, I was so surprised because like normally black audiences, like, there's still a big stigma about
Prince.
No, not about Prince, but just about like masculinity
and gay,
and being
the gay community.
Yeah, and I loved how like the combination of Prince's death and then like being able to watch a movie that's directed at the black community. Like, you could say questionable things about like Spike Lee, maybe he's not in touch, but like a movie like Barbershop 3, it has the name, it has the stars. Black people are going to see it. They're expecting to just get a comedy.
I think that Ice Cube has only written one white person movie ever.
But I think just the fact that it was like, this is a movie that's just supposed to be popcorn fun, and then you have this poignant moment taking down like the perceived expectations of what black masculinity is.
Yeah, this movie covers a lot of social issues, which I really like.
And then just the fact that it got topped off with like, and Prince was this man who to the audience, we know that this man is passed, and we are seeing now, remembering how important he was and how he challenged those stereotypes, and like fucking people clapped in the audience.
Well, it was
They're
great,
like, yeah,
and it's great too. Because,
I love that.
So this movie, the reason I rated it so high, which I didn't really give a lot of reasons, but I really liked the social commentary, not just on the Black Lives Matter movement and the gang warfare thing, but also on challenging masculinity, on challenging the double standard between men and women, which I thought was very, very good. And the fact that, like, Common did steal the show. Like, he was very good. And Nicki Minaj was very good as well.
I didn't like the booty shaking part. I don't know if that was her or not. It seemed like her body type.
It wasn't her.
It wasn't her?
I don't think so.
I would have been so disappointed. Like, it's like, dude, they're already focused on your ass half of your shots. Can we not do this?
If it was her, don't tell me. I don't want to know.
I mean, it looks great. I'm a guy, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, you're Nicki Minaj. Come on, you're more famous than this. You don't need to do that shit, But whatever. Great movie. Go see it. You will have a good time. You'll have a discussion afterwards.
And then we'll see you guys in like 2 weeks for Civil War.
Yeah.
Just so you know, he's Team Iron Man and I'm Team Cap, so we're going to get into a fight.
I'm in the team with fucking Black Panther on it, goddamn.
Falcon! Motherfucking